go to the SAP. How it will go? Using OData application only, guys. The request will go through OData application. That OData performs the action in S4. Nothing but OData is an application. Okay, now it is an application, it is a set of procedure how to create it. It may have methods, classes, all these things that we'll discuss it. That will be executed in case of S4. In case of S4, now once it is been executed and response will be sent from OData service to UI5 application. Okay, UI5 in front end, it is an application. UI application means a screen, guys. Okay, it may be Fiori app also. Okay, Fiori app. What is mean by app? App is based on some UI application. Okay, application is represented as an Fiori app. Likewise, the communication happens, case. Anything UI is just as an interface, user interface. It doesn't hold any database. It doesn't hold any logic or anything apart from UI logic, screen logic. That's it. Okay, guys. Initially, when SAP has designed UI and database are used to be on the same system. For example, traditional module pool, WebDyn Pro, both are on same screen. Both are of the same system. Screens and database are on the same box. Now trend has been changed. They are UI and that backend systems are different. So that is because of to provide more flexibility. To provide more flexibility. Now this can be used. UI is nothing but whichever you use front end. Okay, now it can be UI application. Okay, here it also used to communicate CPI. Now what is, how can we use communicate with CPI? Nothing but previously we used to call PIPO. Okay, PIPO, generally CPI, guys. Now cloud platform integrator, PIPO has been updated to CPI from S4. Okay, cloud platform integrator. Now that will be connected to our S4 system generally, right? S4 is connected, PIPO will be connected to S4 system. When it connected to S4 system, so any communications that we go apart from idocs, there we used to do proxies, we used to do web services to send the data to CPI system or PIPO system. Now that has been rolled out. We all that type of communications we do using OData. All that type of communication we do OData. Any development approaches changes if I do communication with this or this? No, there is no change in the development approach. But these are supporting this all application where have this CPI has a capability to read OData service, UI has a capability to read as OData services. Okay, likewise any third party system, guys, external third use REST services. Third party system. Okay, any cloud based applications can use this particular OData services based on their authorization. Now you may heard about the new tools, UI tools, Mendex. They've been using globally Mendex, no code, low code. They use a concept low code, no code. Okay, Mendex is one of the UI interfaces, guys. Okay, these all things are Mendex. Okay, these all are UI interfaces. Okay, this all nothing but this all been UI interfaces means in backend there should be some service to pull the data or to post the data service. That service is nothing but an OData. Okay, understood the concept, guys? How your data is used to? Any questions on this till this point? Okay, now any third party system, guys, that may be having feature of calling REST based applications, they can use an OData to connect our system. They may require some other authorization. The security basis will take care. Doesn't, we are least bothered. We are our responsibility to create a service and HTTP, all these things they will take it to provide an externalization. Okay, is the third party is authorized to connect our system? Is it our system, the response request, all this thing, that all been taken by basis or security consultants. Okay, now here as initially we discussed two way of systems. One is embedded system, central hub systems. Okay, basically when you are designing OData, that is a very important, you need to remember of that. Okay, embedded system, central hub system, we already discussed, guys. okay, and central hub system. Central hub. So in case of embedded system, what happens is gateway and S4 will be part of same system. Gateway and S4 will be part of same system. Here again I'm just repeating the same concept, guys. S4 and gateway are part of same box, same system. It means I'm going to say box. Okay. Now in case of central hub system, S4, okay, and gateway system are will be in different system. So now here, when you are creating OData application, if this is the case, any channel, guys, any request which is coming from the third party, it may be from UI5 application, nothing but any response or request it is coming from HTTP or HTTPS, nothing but from the outside world to the system. Okay, it is coming from web services, from the web portals, or it may be from our CPI within internal system. Still they are using HTTP. So the first thing it will hit is the hitting the gateway system, gateway layer, nothing but channel, like where it stops the checks. Is this particular service which is coming into my system is an authorized to use it, or is that service is active in my system? That all checks will be done by gateway system. Just assume when IDOC comes into your system, partner profiles will specify what are inbound, what are outbound to this particular custom. Only that IDOCs will take in, others will be thrown as an error. Same case when I send also, what are the IDOC message type which I specified in the partner profile, only that will go, others will not go, guys. What happens here? The partner profile is acting like an your gate to send or receive the messages. Similarly, here also the gateway systems will take care of coordination between the third party systems and our S4 system. Okay, now here in case of embedded, both are of part of same system, nothing but two layers are part of same system. Like we have a application layer, we have a presentation layer as a part of same system. So data here again, gateway will be also part of same system. There will be additional components that will be installed. That depends how your business is. Okay, if a business has multiple third party systems that will be coordinating with this particular system, more interfaces are there, then they prefer to central hub system. They prefer to go with central hub system. If a business, your business is small scale industry, and there are minimum number of third party systems that will coordinate, then they will go with an embedded system, guys. Obviously if they are going with this separate box, then obviously there will be charge in the system. There you are using multiple servers, obviously there will be additional cost to be charged to the customer, guys. So that's the reason, depends on the type of the business, they will recommend it, guys. Okay, now in case of this embedded system, we create OData, creating OData, and need to create service for OData in the same system, in the same system, guys. Okay, now in this case, embedded means we are creating this OData, okay, application, OData application, just use application or OData program, what are the things, development. Okay, we call it as OData project generally. Okay, we create OData. Once you create OData, it is not like it will be accessible to other outside world. You need to publish as a service, nothing but create service. We done for CDS, guys. We created CDS, we specified OData publish, but CDS has not exposed to outside world until we created as a service to it, until we created as a published as an URL, until we published that URL, guys. Okay, similarly here also we need to create an OData. Okay, project. Generally terminology we call it as OData project. Create an OData application. Some people say application. Create an OData project or whatever the terminology. They generally use SAP terminology project. Okay. And creation of service or publisher of service. Okay. Creation or publish of service for OData in same system, guys. In the same system. Now here in case of central hub system, okay, S creation OData, sorry, OData in S4 system. In S4 system, nothing but backend system. Okay, backend system. We call it as this as backend system. Okay. Now here create or publish for OData in the gateway system. This is the things which we have to remember when you are creating OData. Once you are into project, if you get any related to if may get requirement or may not get requirement, if you are on S4, first you need to understand the landscape of the system. Okay, create a publish for OData in gateway system. Gateway system. Okay, once you are into project, the first thing you need to understand is the landscape, guys. Okay, without landscape, see what happens if it doesn't know the landscape. I created a OData, simply I may create the service within the same system, but if it is a central hub system, doesn't waste of creating here. You can't able to, you create it will not work it. Okay, so it should be gateway system. It should be in the gateway system. Both are system, both are different system. You will have user ID will be same. Okay, user ID will be same, obviously, right? It will be same, like how we have different SRM, SCM, all these things, same quality server co-production, same thing. Gateway system will have one for development, one for quality, one for production. Okay, in some cases, rare cases, because okay, rare cases, I'm giving a complex architecture. Single gateway will be used for development and quality. Only for production they use different gateway due to cost, to do reduct the cost of the customer, but that will be rare case. But in general, gateway systems will be each, if it is backend, front end gateway, backend, front end gateway. If it is in central hub system, how we have PI system, PI quality production. Hope it's clear till this point. Any questions? Okay, fine. Now here, first of all, in case of S4, we use a transaction SEGW, guys. The transaction used is SEGW to create any OData application. To create view or anything, create, change, extend, whatever the operation you want to do, extend to create an OData application. OData project or application, whatever you say, we call it as something, any name. Okay, OData application, create, change, extend, anything. If you want to create an existing new, fine, change, extend the standard one, whatever the things. Okay, we use an SEGW. The transaction is SEGW. Okay, next, the service, to create the service, IWFND slash maintain underscore service. It is used to create the service, guys. Okay, maintain underscore service, IWFND, to create service. Okay, this will be used IWFND. Okay, front end, FND, front end, it represents front end. This to be used in your gateway system. If it is both part of same system, no issue. If it is part of different system, you need to use in the gateway system. Okay, if for example, these are the transactions, guys. Okay, next, IWFND slash error underscore log. If to check the log of the services, if at the time of execution that service has been failed, in at the time of runtime it will show the log, but if you want to see details, more details, you can check using transaction IWFND error log. Okay, to get to view errors. errors. Okay, to view errors, IWFND error log, guys. IWFND error log. These are the majorly used three transactions. Now, all the transactions which are starting IWFND is the front end. IWFND is a front end. Similarly, we have a transactions like IWPEP. Okay, just a minute. I think it's backend transactions. Similarly, slash n IWBEP. Give me a minute. Yep, see here. IWBEP. Okay, followed by error log. Followed by error log. So it is used to view backend logs. Used to view backend errors. Okay, nothing but these are related to gateway errors. Front end, these are related to backend S4 errors. So depending on thing, any transaction which is starting with IBP, it is a backend. So if in case of embedded, if it is in case of central hub system, all transactions which are starting with IBP should be used in the backend. All transactions which are used in IWBP should be used in the backend. All transactions which are starting with IWFND should be used in the gateway system. In case of central hub, if it is the embedded system, doesn't matter. Okay, so these are the three major transactions that we use to create, maintain, check the logs. Is it clear? Any questions on this still? Create service and we can use and execute and check and test also, guys. And it is also wants to create and execute. Okay, it is also execute or test. Any questions on this till this point? Any questions? Is it clear till this point for everyone? Okay, so likewise we can use for the front end defined case. Now basically, as I said, OData will be created using transaction SCGW, guys. It is follows completely background technical. It follows an object oriented. Oops. Do we require explicit OOPS knowledge? Nothing required, guys. Don't worry. Normal OOPS is fine. If you know method classes, that's enough. What is private, what is public, that will be more than enough. No need to be expertised in the OOPS above to know to create an OData applications. Okay, regular coding with basic knowledge of OOPS. That's it. Even though you doesn't have basic knowledge in a flow, you can understand what is that. Okay, there will be nothing that is not a rocket science for OOPS. What we require in case of SAP OData. Okay, unless until you want to use something like an inherit the some other class, get into this, use an polymorphism abstract. If you want to do that things, then you require OOPS knowledge case. For writing an OData with the regular things, nothing as no OOPS required. Okay, basic knowledge should be enough. Even if you regular coding you understand, then OOPS you will understand. Okay, it uses a OOPS case, nothing but a classes and method. Classes and method. Okay, it uses a classes and method case. Okay, so it all this particular OData is used to perform all types of applications, guys. Create, it can be perform create, okay, delete, update, insert. So all types of operations are basically read, not insert. Create is read. Okay, all such type of operations can be performed with an OData based applications. Okay, in case of this, you have to basically OData's how they communicate. We require some structures, all these things, right? Yes, here also we create a structures, guys. We create a structures, okay, that we call it as entity types. Entity, that we call it as entity types case. We call it as structures. We create a structures for in OData. Okay, we'll create structures for data communication. We require some structure, right? In which form, what are the fields you are passing, or what are the response I am getting. Okay, based on what response I need to pass in which substructure. You get a selection screen and you will display some output table. You will have a structure for output. Same thing, we'll create a structures, okay, for data communication, that we call it as entity. In the name we call it as entity. Okay, that is nothing but entity. Okay, the terminology is different terminologies. If they say, okay, check the entity, nothing but says check the structure type. Okay, these are the terminology which we use it. You remember what happened? Something. Okay, terminologies, guys. Entity. Okay, now in OData there can be multiple entities. In a application there can be multiple. It can be multiple. There will can be multiple entities. Multiple entities. What is mean by multiple entities? Multiple structures. Each structure, one is for header data, one is for item data, one is for schedule line data, all these things. Okay, likewise it can have multiple entities in a OData. It is one of creating OData means it is just to only to pass header one OData application, to pass item one OData we will not create, guys. Okay, depends on your requirement. Okay, so basically it is can be used for multi-purpose. That's your wish. Okay, but intentionally it can have multiple entities. This is just for structure. This for entity structure. Okay, it is nothing but a structure. Now for each entity, means nothing but for structure, by default a entity set will be created. By default an entity set will be created. Okay, will be created. An entity set will be created. Okay, now what happens here? Entity I set as a structure. Okay, it is nothing but a scale. It is a group of fields what you are going to transfer, or what is the response, request or response, in which format you are getting. Okay, it is to communicate some sort of format. Entity, but by default it a system will generate, and by default a entity set will be created. What is mean by entity set, guys? This entity set is used to communicate, guys, okay, to the out of the OData with multiple records. Entity, it is used to only for single record. Entity set for multiple records. Like a, this will act like a structure, this will act like an internal table. Okay, entity acts like a structure, entity set will act like an internal table. By default, guys, each entity by default it will create an entity set. Okay, now once you created this all things, okay, you can create multiple things. Okay, multiple entities, all these things you can create, that's fine. Okay, in general, once you create and activate or generate, we'll see on the system, guys, but just giving a background picture. If I by default by oh, somebody has connected, guys, system can come out of remote system if somebody is accessing. Somebody is using remote system of our class. Give me just a minute. Guys, is my voice audible to you? Hello.
Yes.
Can somebody respond? Okay. Okay. Just a minute. Why it's got disconnected? Try again the power zone connection with the owner remote. Let's see. Fine. Okay. Then I continue here. So basically, we are discussing an entity. We will have entity set entity. For each entity, we have an entity set. Entity will have entity set where it is used to communicate with multiple records. Okay. Here, in general, this all nothing but structure internal tables. Now, once you create an OData, okay, application and generate and at a number activate. Here we call it as not activate, generate. Once you OData with terminology, remember the terminology generate. Once you do some practical examples, you will remember by default. Okay, the option will not have activate. You have OData application generation. Once it generated, So is it my voice audible, guys? Hello? Yes, can somebody respond? Okay, fine, fine. So just there was some connect network issue, guys. Just I have to switch. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay. Now, so we are discussing this particular things. I'm back to previous screen. Okay. Entity set and particular will generate for every class, guys. It will generate for every generate 4 class every method in case of every OData generated. DPC, DPT extension, MPC, MPC extension. DPC data provider class, data logic. MPC metadata. Metadata means structures. Metadata means like internal tables, table structures. All these things will be as a part of MPC. MPC. Okay. DPC, MPC. These are completely standard code, guys. Okay, standard generated logic. Standard generated logic. Okay, same thing. Standard structure, standard generated structure. This will be generated based on the use structures which you define in entity sets. Nothing but entity. What are the structures you created? Automatically a structure will be created, an internal table will be created with that in the case of MPC in MPC. Okay, it's a global standard structures. Standard case. Okay. Now, if you want to write your custom logic, then you need to use DPC for customer logic, for customer specific logic. Okay, same thing. If you want to extend any structures for any extension, any extensions of structures, we use this. Generally, guys, will not touch this. Maximum 99% will try to avoid MPC extension. Okay, everything can be locally. We'll define our required internal tables, all these things as a part of this method. We'll do it. Okay, that will come. Don't worry. So now these are the things which we generally, what is the now DPC extension, MPC extension. Data provider is for logic. Okay, MPC is related to structure. It may be extension or it may be regular one. Okay, same case applies DPC extension. Okay, now here DPC, once you generate the application, a standard code will be generated in backend, guys. That all will be part of DPC. Okay, and the same will be as a part of extension. But still, if you want to add some logic or you want to write our own logic, right, to create, read all these things, so that will be part of DPC extension class. DPC extension class. Okay, so never do the changes to DPC or MPC. DPC or MPC. It should be done as a part of extension or this part of MPC if it is related to structures. Basically, we specifically will never touch these guys, even though it's extension. 99% requirements can be done without doing any changes to this. Whatever the standard is generated, we'll keep it. We'll play only with this DPC extension. We play only with DPC extensions. Hope it's clear till this point. Anyone has any confusion on this? 4 classes. All these things whatever discussed today is all, most of them are interview questions, guys. What type of application, what represents for OData, OData runs on what type of protocol, REST based protocol. Okay, how it will be communicated. Okay, or is your system is embedded system or central hub system? What is the difference between? What is the transaction used for service activation? How do you create a service? If any logs, what is the transaction that used for checking of logs? Everything is an interview question what we discussed. What is what is mean by entity? What is mean by entity set? Okay, What are the operations you can perform using OData? What is the transaction used for OData? What are the classes generates for the OData? All these things are interview questions, guys. Okay, clear or not? Any questions on this? Any questions? Fine. Now here, basically these are the classes that will generate. This is the classes that is to generate. Now basically by default you have one entity or two entities, doesn't matter. You have entity, you have 10 structure, or it as a part of your OData it may have one structure, 10 structure, doesn't matter. The classes will be fixed, only four. Okay, the classes will have n number of methods. The classes will have n number of methods. Now generally the classes will have n number of methods. Now generally whenever you create an OData, okay, you create an entity, nothing but a structure, entity, a structure. It will create an entity set, that's fine. Every entity is associated with entity set, that's fine. Now it will be created. Once it is generated, these four classes will be generated. DPC, four classes will be generated. Okay, in simple case, four classes will be generated. Okay, this like this four classes will be generated as a part of this part of application. Now a methods, this particular classes will have n number of methods. Classes will have n number of methods. We are least bothered about that. Okay, there are so many standard methods which are related to us, which are not related to us. That depends. Each method has its own functionality. But in a class, for every entity there will be 5 methods. It will be generated. In every entity the 5 methods will be generated in a class. Okay, for every entity, for every entity 5 methods will be generated. 5 methods will be generated in a class, generated in DPC and DPC extension. DPC and DPC extension class. It's in data provider, logic related. Okay, for you performing using this method, we can perform for performing this particular operation: create, update, read, delete. What are that methods? Just okay, OData, the entity name, that will be like this, guys. Entity name, okay, followed by underscore get. Okay, next similarly okay, get, here get entity, it will be like get entity. Okay, and followed by get entity set, get entity set. Likewise it will be there, guys. Entity name followed by create, entity name followed by delete, followed by create. This is using update. This like it will generate update. This like it will generate 5 methods for each entity. Means in your OData, if there are entities, nothing but structure, if there are 10 structures, 10 into 5, 50 methods will be generated, guys. Apart from some standard will be another 200, 50, 60. Means as a class has like 250 methods. Doesn't matter. We are least bothered about that. Will be taken care of by system, the skeleton generation, all these things. We'll go to our required entity method. We'll implement the code. Okay, here clearly specifies get entity. It is used to read the record. Read. Okay, get the record. Only single record. Read single record. work area, single record. Okay. Returns, this is used to read multiple records. Internal table, multiple records. Multiple records. Create, delete, update. By naming itself, we can say create, delete, update. Now all CRUD operations performed. C, create is there. D, delete is there. U, update is there. For read, we have two methods. Get entity set, create, delete, update. These are the 5 methods. It will be, okay, give me a minute, just let me plug in. These are the 5 methods that will be generated once your entity is created, and with that respective entity, once it is generated, these are the 5 things that will be created. Any questions on this? This is also interview question. What are the methods that will be created? Okay, this is also an interview question, guys. So for every entity it will be, guys. So if you have 10 methods, simple, 10 into 5, 50 methods by default generated. Okay, in future you created one entity and added one more entity. Again, you need to do generate, nothing but activate. In this case, activate is nothing but generate. Again, a 5 methods will be added to the okay. Give me a minute, guys. Just a minute. Questions on this till this point? Yes, is it my voice audible right for everyone? Hello. Okay. Any questions on this background of OData, util usage, structure, skeleton, all these things? So fine, guys. So we'll continue on the practicals from Monday. Sorry, Monday. We'll take a break of 2 days, tomorrow and Monday. We'll take a practicals from the Diwali day. We'll be taking a break. So we'll take up on from the Tuesday and we'll continue on the OData applications with the practicals. Okay. Is it fine, guys, for everyone? Any questions, guys? 2 minutes. Any questions, guys? Okay. Okay, fine. Then we'll meet on Tuesday, guys. We'll continue with the OData creation of applications and we'll go on with all sort of basic operations that we can cover as a part of this particular. Okay, this is the last concept, guys, as a part of course. Okay, fine. Have a great day, guys. Happy Diwali all. Let's meet on Tuesday.